Hello my friend, welcome in Light Code channel and welcome in a new episode. In this episode we get some information about HTTP request by using some helpers like path helpers, host helpers, and get acceptable content type helper. But first of all, let me show you a glimpse about previous lesson episode. In the previous episode, we create a new application. First, we create controller and create form the information for get information from the user, and we create this application. For example, if we send some data for our application, it will send this information for our application, and application show us this application. Let me show you example. For example, if we say for example rock and last name, for example finder, for example, and set data to our application, it show us this page, this token automatically created by the underline CRSF, protection our application from any civilian attacks, this first name and this last name. But today we need to get some information about HTTP request, so we can here we can get some helper. Here there is a large of number of helpers that we can use and get a variety of information about HTTP request. You can see variety of the helpers here. I selected 3 helpers for show you how we can use these helpers. Let me go to the VS Code and starting the work. I will go to the create controller here. This all helper, it show us all information that request sent for our application. Let me use this one of them, or the 3 helper path. If we add it here, say helper, say path, for example, path, and go to the browser and refresh our browser here. So if I send data, it does not exist. It give me error. Let me check where I may create mistake. Okay, my friend, I find my mistake. I incorrect writing this path. If I copy this word path from the helper, from the documentation, and add it here and go back to the VS Code, to the browser, and for example refresh this and say it show us a path of route we use. If we go back to the VS Code and go to the web file, you can see here our route name is we name it this route create. So this helper it return for us name of the route. Second helper we use helper host. If we go to the browser and here host, for example this host, so let me use this helper. Go to the VS Code and write here host and go back to the browser and here refresh this and say send data. you can see our local server, local host, because we upload our project on the example server, this example server. This helper show us what the server we used for running this application or this program. The three helper we can use here, for example, get acceptable content type helper. Let me copy this, and so I go to the helper here, get acceptable content types, Control C, and go back to the VS Code and paste it here and refresh our program, our application, and send data. So you can see here this helper give us some information about the request HTTP. This HTTP can accept text set or HTML, application HTML, XML, image, a type of image, and AF image, image web, and image PNG, and application XML, and other type with this request may be received from the user. I think this enough for this episode. You can test all these helpers, but after you build a project, we build it in the previous lesson. You can test all this helper with write it here and get some information about this helper. Thank you for watching. I wish I can see you later in a new episode. God bless you.